Hello there folks, my name is Spoonks and I saw M3GAN and I really liked it. Now normally I don't go see horror films, I'm not really the biggest horror guy, but I don't know, something about this movie really intrigued me from how bizarre and weird the trailers looked, and given how January was looking pretty slow and this was the really only film I had somewhat interest in, I decided to go check it out and I was honestly impressed with it. I had a pretty good time with M3GAN. First, I thought the story and the general themes and ideas were really well done in this movie. It's basically just Ron's Gone Wrong, but a much more darker and intense, scarier movie. But it's not like the film handled its themes and messages like the way it did in Ron's Gone Wrong badly or anything. It was still able to convey a very strong message about how kids using technology in certain ways can kind of or even most times be a bad thing, and especially in this thing, the worst case scenario ever. And like Ron's Gone Wrong, the way it was handled, the message was never like ham-fisted or shoved down your throat. They told it in a subtle and really spot-on way, and I thought it was executed and portrayed really well. As for the story itself, I was very engaged and curious to see where it was gonna go. The way it lures the viewer into the insanity and the terror and the chaos of this movie, I thought was really well handled and executed. It doesn't get to the point where it's just straight up, okay, I don't know what's going on anymore in terms of ridiculous or insanity, but it gets so bizarre and so ridiculous that you just want to see where M3GAN goes from here. And I liked how they showed how M3GAN learned and grew to be this psychotic, clingy best friend in a way, and I thought that was executed very well. The movie can also be legitimately scary and unsettling at times. Now, granted, this is coming from someone who doesn't typically watch horror films because, well, he's scared of horror films, believe it or not. But so your mileage on whether or not this movie is scary may depend on your tastes on horror, but for me, I was very creeped out. The way it built up the tension and just the design and look of M3GAN, it was so creepy and unsettling to me that I became very uncomfortable at times watching the film. But it's also, believe it or not, a very funny movie. This was a lot more comedic than I was expecting it to be, and it really helped alleviate the tension and showed that the filmmakers were really self-aware and knew the type of insanity that they were bringing onto the screen. And I was laughing a lot. A lot of the jokes really worked, whether it be just, again, the insanity of it all, or just how the characters react to certain things or play off of one another, and even some of the social commentary I thought was really funny. As for the characters, I thought they were all really likable and entertaining. Of course, there's the title character herself, M3GAN, who is a star. She steals every scene she is in. Everything she says and everything she does is so amazing and creepy and hilarious and wonderful. She was easily the highlight of the movie. Everyone was eating her scenes up and her chaos was absolutely magical. Everyone is going to be her for Halloween, and every teenage girl is going to idolize this doll until the end of time. She is truly a horror icon. Then there are the other two leads, Gemma, the aunt who has to take care of her niece, Katie, after her parents died in a horrible car accident, and that was really the heart of the film because the movie is not shy to let you know that Gemma is kind of a bad role model and she has to learn to actually raise this kid instead of relying on this robot to do so, and I felt like that was handled very well, and her arc and character development was really solid, and their relationship again brought out some of the more heartfelt and sweet moments here. But unfortunately, folks, I do have some issues that prevent this movie from being outstanding in my opinion. First off, and you probably heard this from a lot of people, but this film definitely felt a bit censored from the PG-13 rating. There were some kills and moments here that felt like they were massively edited because the studio wanted the film PG-13 so they could get a wider audience, which, you know, from a financial stance, I could kind of see, but it really was very noticeable with certain kills and even some of the certain lines the characters had. You could tell like this was definitely R-rated at some points, but they wanted more money at the box office, so they made it PG-13. There are also definitely times in the story where it could get a bit repetitive because, you know, it'd be something or someone that would upset Katie and Megan notices it, so she does something pretty not good, and at times you could feel like, okay, this is just the same thing happening over and over again, but it's not to the point where you get sick of it. It's just something noticeable that I think they could have maybe fixed up a bit to not make it look so noticeable, or at least feel as repetitive as it can feel. And lastly, I do feel like they could have handled a lot of the side characters a bit better. They're not terrible or hateable even, it's just that they weren't as fleshed out or as well developed as like the main three characters here, and I kind of wish they would have made them a bit more than just those one note characters they were, as it just felt like a lot of them were just, you know, Megan's next victims. And because I liked a lot of these characters so much, I wish we could have fleshed them out a bit more, you know. But even with those flaws, I still had a really good time with M3GAN. It's not perfect, sure, but thanks to its strong message and really engaging story, likable characters, some scary and even funny moments, this was a pleasant start to the new year. I definitely think this is something you should see in a theater, or at the very least with a lot of people, you know, like at your friend's house at like a sleepover on movie night, because it's definitely something that you'll get a kick out watching with a lot of people, hearing their reactions and seeing how they feel about the movie. But yeah, if you're looking for a silly little horror comedy, or at least something really entertaining to start your new year, I'd say go watch it. It's not a high recommendation, but I definitely would recommend it enough to say go check it out. I had a good time. So those are my thoughts on M3GAN. What did you all think of it if you've seen it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Comment down below and let me know. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Follow me on all the social media links at the end of the video. And until next time, everyone, stay sharp.
I'm bulletproof, nothing to lose. Far away, ricochet. You take your